Hi, the subject for another video presented itself this week when I was attempting to give a demonstration on using the meter to measure amps, milliamps, and microamps. Now typically we don't do much with microamps automotive, but I wanted to make the point that many of the circuits are operating on very, very small amps. So imagine my surprise when I attempted to measure milliamps and microamps only to find that I had none. Now, a little bit about this meter. This is a Fluke 87.5. One of the nice things about it is it attempts to warn you if you've got the meter leads connected incorrectly when you're set up to measure amps or vice versa. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to move my meter leads as if I was going to measure amps, but I'm going to leave my rotary scale to measure ohms. So to measure amps, I would move the red lead over to the amps receptacle. Now, if I have that lead set up and I have the measurement, the rotary dial, set in something other than amps, my meter is trying to tell me something is not right. And notice you've got the LED OL alternating flashing, and we end up with the audible beeping sound. Well, the same thing should happen if my rotary dial there were set for anything but milliamps or amps, and I happen to have my leads placed into the milliamps or the microamp jack. And notice nothing, no warning whatsoever, nothing's happening there. All right, this is one way to determine whether or not you have a blown fuse in your meter. Now with this particular meter, this has two fuses. It has one fuse that is going to blow at approximately 10 amps. The other fuse will blow at approximately 400 milliamps. Not all of the Flukes do this, but probably most of the Flukes that I've used, at least 87s and 88s, even back to the version 3, would allow you some method of checking those fuses without disassembly. That method was to actually set the meter up to measure ohms. So I've got the meter here set up to measure ohms, and what I'll do is I'll take the positive terminal and I will slide that down the amps jack until I make contact. And for the high scale, the 10 amp scale, at 0.1 ohm is about what you'd get with a good fuse. Now, when I move over to the milliamp and microamp jack, I should have about 1,000 ohms there. And notice it's still saying OL, and it's OL in the mega ohm. So I truly have an open there. And again, this is another indicator that that small 400 milliamp fuse is blown. So again, with this newer style meter, either the alternating OL-lead kind of gives you an idea something is hooked up incorrectly, and if you know that you've got the leads and the dial incorrectly set up, such as again this, if that fuse is good, you should get a warning like this. And again, I do not have that warning in the milliamp microamp scale. So again, indicator fuse is bad. So